for reading, very enthusiastically. We will read all the way to end of Luke, maybe to John. Shall we all pray together? We thank you, Lord, for giving us your word. We pray that God, today as you open up your word, you open up our eyes to see wondrous truth from your word. And you also open up our hearts. If our hearts are cold, if our hearts are hardened, if our hearts are numb, we pray that God will soften our hearts. And God will open our hearts to receive your word, hearing you speaking to us. Use me, Lord, as an unworthy servant to bring across your word. We pray these in Jesus' name. And I title today's message as that's unfair. This is a very common complaint that we always hear from people when they face unfair situation. And we always face unfair situation or injustice, whether it's a small little incidents or to big incidences. Like for example, what are areas that we face injustice? Sometimes we face it at home, maybe among siblings. You know, when the parents treat the different siblings unfairly. Maybe some like boys more than girls, or like girls more than boys. Or maybe the cuter one or the smarter one gets more attention, or they get away with doing things that are wrong, but others are not. You know, or in school, sometimes teachers also show this kind of unfairness towards their students. Those who are outspoken, those who are smarter, always get more attention. Those who are quieter, more timid, they probably get brushed aside. And this is always commonly the case when they say teachers always remember the smarter one or the best students and the lousiest students. The in between always got forgotten. You know, and or in the school among students, among classmates, among schoolmates, so this will happen. The prettier one, the more handsome one get all the attention. The rest, you know, they get sidelined. Or at work, or sometimes for us in NS, for guys, you know, sometimes our bosses, our colleagues will give different treatments to their peers, to their colleagues as well. You know, those who like to wayang, you know, they like to use this word wayang. Those who are hardworking in front of the bosses, and they are good talkers. Sometimes the bosses will give them favoritism, they show them a lot of good stuff. But other hard workers who are quiet and or easily bullied, you know, sometimes they get sidelined, or sometimes they are forgotten. You know. And sadly, sometimes in church also, the talented one, the outspoken one, the publicly active ones, or even the rich one, sometimes they get more attention and they get away with all the wrongdoings, but not the others. So we find injustice in almost every areas of our life. And how do we respond to injustice? I put that there are three possibilities. Sometimes we want to change the environment. If it's at home, some people want to go overseas or want to marry out. Or if it's a job place, if it's a workplace, you want to change job. You want to change your environment. Second way we deal with injustice or unfairness, complain. Right? This is more a passive way to seek justice. You want sympathy from people and they complain, that's not fair. Or they go to social media, they do rant at social media with their friends, with their family members, and tell them, it's passive way. Or a more aggressive way, they challenge the authority. Some people will start quarreling, literally fight. You see those road rage because they find it's not just. Or they sabotage your company. You see, this is unfair to me, go to sabotage it. You know? So, but don't get me wrong, sometimes some of these ways are okay to do. You change, you can share with people what you're going through, or challenge the system when it's really bullying some people in the system. You know, it's a different way to be handling. But how should we Christians really handle injustice and unfairness? How should we face them in the first place? Well, what we have just read in Luke 23 is recorded for us properly, and in fact, it is the most unfair treatment in the whole entire history of mankind. And we see corruption in its extreme form today in this passage. Let's take a look at the passage, verse 1 to 32. Over here at chapter 22, what had happened is this. Jesus was arrested and was brought before the Jewish council for judgment. You know, and this was a religious law. But beginning here, over here, verse 1, Jesus, the religious leaders bring Jesus towards into the civil court before Pilate, the governor, and they bring him for judgment. And after cross-examining Jesus for a while, in front of all these religious leaders, what was the conclusion of Pilate? A few times actually it appears. Verse 4, verse 14, verse 22. This is Pilate's conclusion. Innocent. I find this guy has no guilt at all. That's what this civil servant, the Roman government, which is a professional civil law enforcer, this is his conclusion. He says, after cross-examining him a few times, I find that there's nothing wrong. In fact, verse 20 tells us that Pilate wanted to release Jesus. This is what he wanted. And so we see some form of justice here in Pilate. However, this form of justice also has some difficulty or some problems too. Let's take a look at it. Verse 6 to 12. Pilate used Jesus as a political goodwill. Verse 12, Pilate has this enemy who is governing in the region above him. Pilate is in charge of Judea. This Herod is in charge of Galilee, which is above him. So two of them are political rivals. And knowing Herod is now in Jerusalem, and Herod wanted to see Jesus very badly because Jesus was a Galilean. He used this opportunity, Pilate used this opportunity to make peace with Herod. And he sent Jesus over to Herod. So verse 12, and after this whole incident, they became good friends. So what is this situation like? It is like slightly more than a year ago. US and North Korea, they were like quite in a high tension. And last June, they are supposed to meet in Singapore, remember? And before that, how did this rival, this high tension Asian leader meet together? Well, Kim Jong-un, the last May 9, he released 3 US prisoners back to US. Then Donald Trump was quite happy. So, he released my prisoner, the prisoner, US citizen. It was like something like this, and after that they could talk properly at the summit. But the difference is this. The difference is that they were in that incident last year, they were releasing prisoners. But in Jesus' case, they were not releasing him, but he was handing Jesus over to Herod. In a sense, we tell Herod that I recognize your sovereignty in Galilee. So he's recognizing his sovereignty in Galilee. So after that, they became good friends in verse 12. So in this case, Jesus was used as a political goodwill, although he was innocent. And even though this Pilate said that Jesus was innocent 3 times, he said he was innocent. He found no guilt in him. But strangely, in verse 16 and verse 22, 2 times he says, I will punish him and release him. He said, I now found no guilt in him, but he said, I will punish him, then I will release him. Why should he be punished in the first place if he's innocent? So something wrong with Pilate. But more than that, under pressure, tremendous pressure, he finally gave in and handed over Jesus to be crucified. Verse 24 to 25. So Pilate's justice is based on a pragmatic reasoning. First, Jesus was used as a political goodwill. Second, he was afraid to offend the Jews. And if the Jews are offended in such a large crowd, there may be a Jewish uprising. And if there's a Jewish uprising, Pilate's position will be shaky. Caesar will not be very happy. Can you see? So what kind of justice do you call this? I put here, Pilate's justice is actually a pragmatic justice. It's based on his selfishness. His position as the ruler cannot be threatened. So he asks us, is that fair to Jesus? Imagine you are being thrown to such rulers and such kings and all that. They are dealing with fairness according to their own interests. How about when Jesus went before Herod himself? What is Herod's justice like? When Jesus was sent to Herod in verse 6 to 7, and verse 8 tells us Herod wanted to see Jesus very badly. Why? The verse tells us because he wanted to see signs, miracles done by Jesus. And when he asked and cross-examining Jesus for a long time. Jesus gave him no answer. He wanted a sign, he did not see any either. So he and his soldiers began to make fun and mock Jesus. In verse 11, they began to make fun at him, began to mock him. At this moment, you have to think, why didn't Jesus answer Herod when Herod was examining him? Well, strictly speaking, Jesus is under Herod's jurisdiction because he's a Galilean. Why didn't he answer? Well, I suggest to you that this Herod, in the first place, wasn't interested in justice. He doesn't care much. He wanted to see signs performed. He wanted entertainment. He's not interested. He's disinterested in justice and fairness. Entertainment before justice. He's an irresponsible ruler. So I thought, what kind of justice is this? Herod's justice, put that as a kind of neglected justice, neglected over his personal entertainment. Is that fair? Is that fair to Jesus? And lastly, we take a look at the last group of leaders, which are the religious leaders, the Jewish leaders at the time. These are the religious head of the Jewish state at the time. They are probably now our pastors, reverend, the canon, Pharisees, people, and whatever. They are all the top people. And verse 1, they brought Jesus to Pilate. For what? Because these are Jewish religious leaders. Now they bring Jesus before a Roman civil court, seeking for justice. Answer is no. They were not seeking for justice. Verse 2, before Pilate, when he gave all the accusation, Pilate said, no, he's not guilty. Verse 4, end of verse 4, that was the conclusion. He's not guilty. Verse 5, they insisted that he is guilty. Before Herod, after cross-examining him, Herod found nothing conclusive in verse 9. But what was happening? Verse 10, they insisted that Jesus is guilty. One more time, come back to Pilate again. Verse 14, 15, Pilate says he has no guilt. But they wanted Barabbas, verse 18. They wanted this Barabbas himself. And verse 20, verse 21, Pilate said again, he has no guilt. And now they shouted, they want him crucified. They want Jesus crucified. And there was no guilt in him, but they wanted Barabbas and they want Jesus crucified. And indeed, they had Jesus crucified. Who is this Barabbas? Twice in this passage tell us that this Barabbas is the one who needed to be crucified. He is the one who caused insurrection, rebelling against the government. And he's the one who murdered someone. Twice, he tells us, they rather have a person who really needed to be crucified and who sacrificed Jesus to someone who is guiltless. This is the religious leader of the time. And we ask ourselves, why? They were not seeking for justice, but they just wanted blood. And why? Why did they want to kill Jesus so bad? The answer? Because Jesus was a threat to their religious system. When Jesus spoke to them, you see in the Gospel of Luke, when Jesus spoke about them, he actually pointed out their false religion, something that's outward, and inwardly they are actually corrupted. Jesus always spoke against their external piety, their showing forth of their outward religiosity. But inwardly is a lot of idolatry, a love for money, and self-love. So I put it because Jesus was actually a threat to the outward form of religiosity. The Jewish system at that time is a false religion. So Jesus actually was a threat to that tradition. So they wanted Jesus dead very badly. Despite the civil court found that Jesus was guiltless. So they wanted blood, they wanted Jesus dead. They were not really interested in justice too. In this case, what you see is a religion using politics to achieve their own end. You rather have an innocent person dead and a rebel and an actual murderer like Barabbas to be released. What kind of justice is this? I put here It is a twisted justice because of friends. Twisted justice because of. Is that fair? You ask yourself. Let us pause to think a little bit of the implication. The three types of justice that we see here: a pragmatic justice by Pilate, a neglected justice by Herod, and twisted justice by the religious leaders. In actual case, many times we ourselves perform such justice too. This kind of justice. For example, parents, when we show favoritism to our children, maybe because of gender, or because some are smarter than the other, or cuter than the other, is that not kind of pragmatic justice that we have? Or in school, sometimes we bully those who are easily bullied because of their size, because of their behavior, or because of their IQ or their EQ lower than ours. We bully these people for fun of it. Isn't this not a neglected justice that we don't treat people equally for entertainment? At workplace, sometimes when our position is threatened, our promotion is threatened, or in church when our tradition is threatened, we will go against someone. All the way out, whether it's right or wrong, because our position is threatened. Isn't it twisted justice? For selfishness, for entertainment, or for retaining of our own tradition, sometimes we sacrifice people around us. Our siblings, our children, we sacrifice our schoolmates, our colleagues, in our workplace. Our church means our leaders, and all the people who are made equal like us, made in the image of God, and we will sacrifice them. Is that fair? We ourselves also practice such justice. Who brought Jesus to the cross? It's a prideful religious leader, definitely. The irresponsible governors, definitely. But truth of matter is also us. People like you and me send Jesus to the cross because of the kind of justice, the kind of treatment that we treat one another. We are the one who send Jesus to the cross. Well, this song, I love this song very much, and this song actually expresses this idea, how deep the Father's love for us. In the second stanza, this song says this, he said, behold the man upon the cross, my guilt upon his shoulder. And as much as these people were mocking at Jesus, the songwriter says, ashamed, I hear my mocking voice. I'm among the scoffers, the mockers who call out at Jesus and who mock at Jesus. It was my sin that helped me there until it was accomplished. His dying breath has brought me life. I know it is finished. We were among these people. It was our sin that brought Jesus to the cross. What should we do if we recognize that? Number one, we must recognize our own injustice. We must recognize it's our own selfish reasons, our own selfish gain, that we ourselves have also practiced pragmatic justice. Sometimes it's for our own entertainment, our own fun that we have, we neglected, we ignore justice. And sometimes because of our pride, our tradition, our practices are being threatened, we twist justice. We just go out, whether it's right or wrong, we don't care. It was this same thing that Jesus was crucified for us. Second, what should we do? After we recognize that, we can confess before God all these kind of sin that we have performed, and we thank Jesus for his death for us on the cross. And lastly, put your faith in this Jesus. And surrender your life to him, because he didn't just die for you, but the next chapter you realize that he also raised as the risen king. So you can surrender your life to this risen king. Jesus experienced all this injustice. More than that, he knows all the injustice that you and me have done. Yet at the same time, he was willing to go to the cross, and he willingly went to the cross. Verse 27 to 28 tells us when the woman was crying for him on the way to be crucified, Jesus turned around and told this woman, "Woman, don't cry for me. I don't need pity. I don't need your pity. I went to the cross willingly." He's telling this woman, "Don't cry for me." In fact, Jesus turned around and says, "Cry for yourself. Cry for the daughters of Jerusalem. Cry for yourself." Because why? He's describing the hearts of the people in Jerusalem. They were so hardened towards Jesus. They were so hardened towards Jesus. And Jesus says, with their hardened hearts, they will face judgment. Verse 29 to 31. They will face judgment. Now that grace is given when it is green, they are so hardened. How much more when it is dry? And the judgment comes. They will be very hardened. So one of the things we learn from here is that we must turn to Jesus now, immediately, and don't harden our own hearts. Don't harden our own hearts. How did Jesus face injustice? How did he face injustice? How do you endure such injustice that being given to you? Verse 33 to 47. Facing all these unfairness. Verse 33 tells us Jesus was being led to this place called Skull. Traditionally, this is also known as Calvary Hill, the hill of Calvary, just outside Jerusalem. Where is this place of execution? Calvary Hill. Verse 33 tells us this is a place called Skull. This is a place where the Roman soldiers crucified all the worst criminal. It is not a glorious place. It is not a glorious place. And what is the setting? There were two other terrible criminals who were crucified together with him. One, the first tells us, one on his right, one on his left. It is totally a shameful, disgraceful execution. I put here when the innocent king died in the most dishonorable and disgraceful death. The three crosses is not something glorious. It's something shameful that he was executed together with the rest of the scum of the earth, the rest of the criminals. It's a disgraceful and dishonorable death for Jesus and the King. As if this disgraceful event or this venue and the setting was not enough, the people over there continually mocking, insulting, and giving hurtful comments to Jesus. Verse 35, the religious leaders near Jesus, these are the Jewish people, his own people, the Jewish people, staring at Jesus. Verse 36, now the Roman soldiers, which are the Gentiles, mocking Jesus. Verse 39, a criminal himself, one of the criminals himself, one of the guilty party, was also insulting Jesus. We often hear this idiom when we were kids. It says, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words never hurts me. Is it true? Many times we know this is totally not true at all. Right? We know the word hurts. The text messages that we receive hurts us, affect us, cause us to just like social media, what people say on social media, in our Facebook, in our Twitter, what they leave behind, it actually affects us. Gossips, slanders, it actually hurts us. In fact, in Proverbs 18, he says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Death and life are in the use of our words. That's what Proverbs says. So we know it's not true. So such insult can come to Jesus. So we ask ourselves, how did King Jesus face such injustice and insult? How did he face all these things? How did he face all these things? I think there are a few ways we learn from Jesus and a few ways we see what he's going through for our sin. So, put that in the heart prayer. Verse 34, he prayed for their forgiveness. He prayed for their forgiveness because Jesus came to seek sinners, to seek the Jews who were against him, to seek the Gentiles who were mocking him, and to seek the terrible sinners who were kneeling beside him. How should we then face injustice, or how should it's so difficult how to pray for him. The classmate always bullying him. How to pray for him? It's difficult. It's difficult, of course. But what we should do is look at the cross. That's what the Son of Man, the King himself, did. And that's what he was sent for. To save sinners, to seek and save sinners. He asks us, how did Jesus face such unfairness? On the other way, you see over here, one of the criminals was scolding Jesus. But on the other hand, the other one scolded this criminal, and he turned to Jesus and asked Jesus, in verse 42, he says, remember me, Jesus. And what did Jesus do? Jesus immediately offered him a big offer, the offer of salvation. In verse 43. What kind of offer is this? I put there, Jesus immediately give him a free, immediate, and gracious offer for a repentant sinner like him. Free because this guy is a criminal nailed for his sins and his crime. He's free because now that he's nailed on the cross, he can't do anything for Jesus. He can't do anything to make things right. So this salvation is given to him freely. He can't even earn for it because now that he's nailed on the cross. Second, it's immediate because Jesus says, today you will be with me in paradise. It's the immediate one that Jesus will give you salvation. Third, it is gracious to this criminal because this guy is dying for all the crimes and all the sins that he has committed in his life. And Jesus graciously gave it to him. So it is a free, immediate, and gracious offer. It's a big offer to him. How can we face injustice and insult? Well, show grace. And that's what Jesus did by giving this free, immediate, and gracious offer. But it's so difficult, isn't it? We show grace by doing good to those who harm us, by doing good to those who insult us, by doing good to those who show us unfairness. But it's so difficult. Well, what we need to do is to look at our own sinfulness and then look at the cross and see how much the Savior has already offered to us this free, immediate, and gracious offer of salvation. He offered it to us, so we graciously, as freely we receive, freely we give this same grace to other people. And that's what Jesus did for us. How did he face such terrible injustice? The verse tells us he held tightly to God the Father. Jesus trusted in God's justice, not human justice. At verse 46, he says, Father, into your hand I have my spirit. I commit my spirit. Jesus totally trusted in God's injustice. Well, in God's justice, when he was facing injustice, he knew that God will vindicate him. At the point when he was nailed on the cross, Jesus did not come down because he can. He performed so many miracles. When people insulted him, he did not come down and give them 2 slaps, backslap, and go back out again. Or at least, he was nailed on the cross. One of the robbers was actually insulting him. He could just extend his hand. He's God, right? He could just extend his hand, give us a step, and come back again. He could, but he didn't. If he's a Singaporean, what would he do? He didn't even retaliate with words. Like Singaporean, what would you say? If someone insult you, shut up. That's what we were saying. He didn't say anything. Or when the soldiers was insulting him, Jesus did not give any threat back. He said, soldiers, remember what you say? Okay, watch when I come back, watch. He didn't give any threat. And that's what Peter tells us in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 23. He says, when Jesus, was rebuffed, he did not rebuff him. When he suffered, he did not threaten, but continued trusting himself to God, who judges justly. He totally clung on to God the Father. He said, Father, into your hand I commit my spirit. So suffering so much injustice, insult, unfairness, he commit to God of justice. So what can we do when we are facing a hungry unfairness? We commit ourselves to this God of justice. He will right or wrong. And many times we see in our life that this God actually right the wrongs in our life. In our lifetime, sometimes soon, sometimes later, but definitely when Christ returns, he will right all the wrongs. Commit ourselves to this God of injustice and don't take justice into our own hand. When he was facing all this mockery, injustice for our sake, how did he handle such insult? Well, what we know is Jesus knew the final purpose, the ultimate, the greater purpose of all that he was going through. And what was that purpose? Salvation. To bring salvation to people. He endured all the injustice and insult so that he could bring salvation to people. To who? We see in this passage immediately the first person, the criminal. In Matthew chapter 27, verse 44, actually tells us that both the criminals were insulting him. But after a while, one of these criminals was nailed at the side of beside Jesus, was observing him. He observed this person. How come he never retaliated? How come he never cursed God or enemy? And after a while, worse, he heard Jesus' prayer. He said, Father, forgive them. This criminal will be like, okay, wait a minute. He's addressing God as his Father. And he's asking for these people's forgiveness. Who is this man? This criminal began to think, who is this guy who addressed God as Father? And no Jew addressed God as Father. And who is this man who actually prayed for forgiveness of people who actually hated him? So this criminal came to his sense. And final conclusion in verse 41, he told the other criminal, this man is a good man. He has done nothing wrong. And more than just recognizing that Jesus is a good man, verse 42 tells us, and it says, he must be a king. He must be that Christ whom he claimed to be. We ask Jesus to remember him. A Jew, criminal Jew. Second, a centurion. All that Jesus was going through for the greater purpose was to offer salvation, and one of them could be this centurion, verse 43. You must verse 36 tells us that all the soldiers, but including these centurions, were all mocking at Jesus. But again, it could be after these centurions seeing the reaction of Jesus, hearing his prayers, and verse 44 saw the sign in heaven when the whole sky was darkened for 3 hours, 6 to 9 hours. He was like, who